Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Week 7 of the Ascendant League. I believe this is the last week before playoffs, right, Anti? It's a funeral slash last stand. It's like Halo Reach all over again for Texas A&M Room tonight. I believe there was a forfeit with no quarters, which made this game go from super awesome to watch to just kind of a celebration of life for Tamu, and of course to see what XSV Neon can do, being the #1 seed going into playoffs.
Oriana with no Jarvan, so you have to be very careful about a Vi pickup right now.
Yeah, and a Vi pickup could be a bit dangerous. I also think Xin Zhao works pretty well into both the Wukong matchup and with the Oriana Karma. I do kind of think that might be XSV's best pick available. Whether they go for it, we'll see. Lulu going to be drafted. It's a bit of a weird draft right now for Texas.
It is not a weird draft. Texas A&M Maroon are just going for a Yasuo comp. The other two champions are guaranteed to have knockups. I am calling it now. We are absolutely going balls to the wall for it. It's the last series of the season. You have the spotlight on you. There is no reason to fear failure. So right now, you just have to go for it. So I think right here, you just ban away some comfort picks from the side of XSV Neon, and Texas A&M Maroon are going to be in a very fun position. Now, the question is whether or not putting your opponents in a bouncy house is actually going to be a good strategy, or if they brought the knives to pop things before you can get a chance to play.
It's just... Okay, in my opinion, I don't think Wukong's the best pairing as a jungler to go with the Lulu. I do think he's good with the Yasuo, but like, I feel like there was better
just for
to walk in
Yasuo
than Lulu.
No, it's just for the Yasuo, right?
Dude.
I mean, it might even be the Yasuo Lulu bot lane, specifically so that way you can just get knock up on knock up on knock up. So we're getting Vayne, another one of those champions. Actually, this might not. This actually looks real. Hold on. The Yasuo pick.
Surely that's a Vayne bot, right? Or are they?
I think that's a Vayne AD carry. Unless this is a okay, never mind. I thought we were going to. I thought we were just going to have a fun bounty house of a comp, but no, we do have ourselves an actual very serious composition here. So I love the Wukong pickup, because what Wukong is able to do is he's able to have one of the most impactful team fighting ultimates of all time. In the meantime, Lulu with the Wild Growth pairs very, very well with the Vayne, allows Vayne to just chase down champions like the Ezreal, but it's also a question as to whether or not you can deny some of these picks from the opposing team. So that's the reason why things like the Lulu are very good to pick up, because what makes it harder to exist as Yasuo? Polymorph. I don't care that you can win wall it.
Yes, I would. So I agree on that sense, but like into the team, they had already had the Karma picked up. Why not drop something like I don't know, Seraphine? Gives the Wukong an easier time hitting a big ult, Yasuo an easier time hitting a stun. I mean, when you're going for Vayne, I also just think Vayne's weird if we're drafting a Yasuo comp. Like, I respect it. It's a little strange,
I understand the reasoning. Now, one thing I will say is that I don't think Seraphine is pickable when Mel is available still, right? So you might end up running into a couple of issues when it comes to lacking the physical damage, but when you already got an Olaf, you already got a Shinzao that you're already thinking about picking up, something like a Mel would make Seraphine very, very difficult for this team to actually play against, especially because all of a sudden Yasuo has one thing that he needs to be looking at when walling, and that is his own Seraphine's Encore. So I like the Lulu. It's very consistent. It's a very specific, pick in order to make sure that this Vayne continues to be as useful as possible. But here we go. The duo just walking into the jungle and a little bit of early damage down.
Immediately going to walk in there and try to see what they can find. It doesn't look like it's going to be a whole lot just yet. Get a bit of a damage off. I mean, they get the ward. I always, as a jungler, I love that early game ward. That early game ward, like, does things to me that, like, nothing else can. I think Olaf is a super strong pick into their team right now, but that level 1 into Drobo and to Sojin is going to be a bit difficult now for the Olaf to play. Already chunked down to half health in this lane.
Yeah, going to be chunked down early on, but it is Olaf, one of those champions that's honestly pretty happy about playing at low health. This is potential kill
fight.
here.
It's a bit of an all-in coming through. Are they going to be able to fight it? It's going to be the Olaf who dies. An immediate first blood for the red side, despite the chunking of the Olaf early.
Yeah, it's first blood despite the chunking, despite the flash and the exhaust being committed there. I'm Blast going to take a very, very strong early kill here. Jasmine Wolf's just going to walk up, trade some autos with Brian, but she's not going to be able to do too much more in that one. One thing I will also have to note is the summoner choice and build choice from Blastburn in the mid lane. So that is a Dorn's Blade Yasuo. We don't usually see Dorn's Blade on Yasuo lately because of just the strength of Dorn's bow. But when you're playing Grasp Yasuo, I can definitely see the argument to be made here. But let's take a look at this dive.
Might be coming here. Xin Zhao going to initiate it. Is under the turret, takes 2 tower shots. I will glide. Gonna find the first. Brain gonna take the second tower shot. Morbidly Obese gonna be the only one who's able to get away on that one with his life. Oh, God, it's not coming up. Now, I will glide, might find 3. Can they do it? That's the flash. Morbidly Obese going to be able to get away just barely with Poppy chasing after
Jasmine,
him.
Okay. I was going to say Jasmine had the flash available. Morbidly Obese forced to flash away. It's not going to be Dorn's Blade on Yasuo lately because final kill, especially because the strength of Dorn's bow is still available. When you're playing Grasp Yasuo, I can definitely see not Immortal, it is Ascendant.
Take a look at this dive a little bit higher up on to initiate it. Tier list here, but takes 2 tower shots. I will glide. Gonna find the first. Brain gonna take the second tower shot. Morbidly Obese gonna be the only one who's able to get away on that one with his life.
Both playing
it's not gonna be, now I will
well around these skill shots, around these fights. So top side going very, very well for the side of XSV Neon. Bot side going disastrously for them on the other hand. So the question is, which side are you going to be able to fully
Oh my God, I'm Blast on top of JJ Robo. Solo Jan gonna try to get on top back, but it's not gonna happen as I'm Blast is decimating 2 of them back to back. Sojan gonna be first to flash over the wall, but now it's a 2-0 Blast, and we're starting to see the real picks come out right now. Vayne gonna be 2-0 with the failed tower dive. Olaf gonna be 2-0 now off the back of a gank that just didn't really go in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, the gank is one way to put it, but I think that was more of Sojan trying to get some sort of respite for JJ Robo, and it's just so difficult to actually see whether or not it's possible to take down this Olaf, especially since this Olaf only level 5.
I will glide. Going to try to give Brain a bit of an early death in this lane again, trying to find themselves 3-0. However, G-Momo going to come up. Can he find the wins become lightning? It's the flash forward, finds the Lulu and finds the shutdown on Vayne. That was really well played by G-Momo.
Yeah, Jimu just gonna walk on in. Wind becomes lightning, the flash, and a guaranteed kill over to the bot lane. The double kill early on was tough to deal with, but now 2 kills going straight back to the side of XSV Neon. And don't forget, if you take a look at that CS differential, those early 2 kills might have meant quite a bit, but you're not going to be able to make back that CS differential nearly as easily. Iron Blast, on the other hand, just harassing poor JJ Robo up in the top lane. So much of the time you see things like the Mordekaiser picked up because you think to yourself, oh, well, I need some sort of magic damage on the team. I need, some sort of bruiser in that front line that allows me to play against a team. I don't think Mordekaiser is the choice when you're looking for a blind pickable one. Olaf is just a champion that makes it so difficult for this champion to exist, especially once they both hit level 6.
Yeah, there's certainly... I mean, like, Olaf is just such a hard counter picking a Mordekaiser. It's like kind of if you're locking in Mord, if that's going to be your blind, it needs to be banned, right? There really is... Pre-6, he beats you. Post-6, he destroys you. First Dragon, though, going to be taken real quick here by Texas A&M Maroon. It is the potential that they could be trying to stack Dragons and find a way to make that Olaf irrelevant. Jasmine Wolf is going to be able to find Brain, not necessarily the pick you wanted to go to, but still the kill nonetheless. Here's going to be an easy kill, though. JJ Robo, no flash. I mean, you have the exhaust, but... You're not choosing to burn it, and it's just... It's so hard to play that matchup. It's genuinely one of the matchups that I think is one of the few absolutely impossible matchups to play this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's... God, like, literally all you can do is sit down under tower and farm. But when you already have lost an early kill in top lane, especially at the higher levels, you die once, you die the rest of the laning phase. It is tough to say the least, and to say more are words that I don't think we're allowed to say on broadcast. Either way, this matchup is a tough one, and JJ Robo, more importantly, lacking any boots, lacking any move speed, lacking any way to get away from Iron Blast on this Olaf. Meanwhile, Iron Blast has the boots, has the Phage, has so much kill power every single time that Ghost up, every single time that Ragnarok is up. You're just going to be seeing this Olaf walk forward again and again, and nobody is going to be able to stop him.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Vayne should have an okay time into the Olaf, I think, come later game once you start scaling more and more. But it is going to be the question of how do you keep Vayne alive while that Olaf is running down the rest of your team? How fast is that Vayne going to be able to take down the Olaf with him Ragnaroking, running full force into them? Can I Will Glide successfully glide away from the Olaf? Or is it just going to be Iron Blast running this game?
Yeah, I mean, the big question here, right, isn't whether or not Vayne can just deal with the Olaf, but can Vayne deal with the Olaf while not getting completely destroyed by the Orianna, by the Shinzao, by the Ezreal, by the Karma, right? There's this entire team who their entire job is to make sure any AD carry is not going to be able to enjoy their life, and a lower range AD carry like Vayne, despite the stealth, despite the build paths, is just not going to be able to play the game. In the meantime, look at this jungle.
Inside the invade right now, Sojin's going to get hit with a massive shockwave. There's going to be the follow-up from Yasuo. It doesn't do enough damage to get away. The Crescent Guard from Xin Zhao just gonna run miles around them. It's a very successful invade coming from XSV Lost.
Yeah, and XSV Neon once again, the #1 team coming into this, the #1 seed going into the playoffs, showing exactly why they have that moniker. They're playing so well here. They managed to get everyone in the right place at the right time earlier than Texas A&M can be there in Texas A&M's jungle.
Oh, G-Momo maybe staying a little bit too long. Sojin is on top of him. Can he find the knockup? The knockup is found. The question is he going to be able to find that Nimbus strike afterwards? The flash over the wall. There's going to be the follow-up flash committed. He goes for the wind to become lightning, but the red buff is not found. That is going to be a very dead Xin Zhao. It was a good look, though. If he finds that red buff, he might be out.
Yeah, honestly, that's an unfortunate misplay coming in from G-Mumu, just trying to get that Wind Become Lightning onto the red buff, but here's
the
an
polymorph
ult committed.
Is huge. There's going to be Vayne trying to get the comeuppance in on Morbidly Obese. There's going to be the Morbidly Mortality going through, and now Brain, stuck by themselves, is another double kill going over to that Vayne.
Yeah, I will glide, flashes forward, pops the final hour, and Jasmine right behind him at each and every moment, making sure this Vayne can punish that 2v2 as difficult as it can be. 2 kills down does not matter.
I think one of the issues we're starting to see is how strong that Vayne is getting, and I think the really real question for XSV Lust here is, are they going to be able to get their hands on some of these objectives? Of course, they have that very strong Olaf. They have the grubs available. Olaf is a free side lane threat. There's nobody in this who can side lane against Olaf besides the Vayne, and the Vayne can never really leave their team in team fights, right? However, Dragon's being stacked. There's another dragon coming in 20 seconds. If they can find that second dragon, that could be a win con. There's going to be a tower dive. The exhaust is going to go through. I'm blasting a lot of damage, but it's not going to be enough. One more tower shot would have done it, but I'm blast. 5-0.
Yeah, in the meantime, we're seeing some trading back and forth in the mid lane, but just to reiterate what you were saying, Romeo, right, this Vayne is going to be a huge threat in these team fights, and this Vayne is going to be very, very difficult to deal with in these team fights. But the way how I'll put it is, when you're playing against a fed AD carry, when you're playing against a fed, champion whose primary thing is to just deal damage and nothing else, no matter how fed that champion gets, they are not getting tankier.
Oh,
so I will glide right now.
Glide is able to find one, but they're going to be caught a little bit from Jimomo here, as I will glide going a little bit too deep in a bit of a weird play. You know the Xin Zhao's down there. They just took Dragon, and now you're going to lose your entire tower and a shutdown for it.
Yeah, the montage music gets cut short, and I will glide going to be going down, which means the entire tower drops as well. Jasmine Wolves did what she could to try to keep this AD carry alive, but despite all of that gold, all of those hype moments, you're not going to be able to survive once the Xin Zhao comes into the area. And if Jimumu goes in onto I Will Glide in the later stage team fights, bringing the ball over, that shockwave is going to pop this Vayne like a balloon.
I'm a little worried now for Texas A&M Maroon. This is, of course, Final Stand series. The stakes might not be on them getting the playoffs, but it is on trying to leave a little bit of a memorable run, right? If you win against the first place team, what does that mean for you going into the next split? And what are the questions we ask if the 7th place team can beat the first place team in the last week of the season, right? However, you're down 3,000 gold. You do have a very strong Vayne, but after what we just seen, I'm a little worried for I Will Glide. I get things are dire and we want to push our advantage as much as we can, but when we don't have vision and we're making plays like that, it becomes the question of what other unforced errors are going to come out.
Yeah, I mean, right here, I don't know if we're going to be seeing much of any errors, but just an execution.
Yeah, J Robo trying to stay alive. It looks like they're just down to take the tower. Why take the kill if we can confirm a tower without giving anything up? And I think it's okay to do that. There's another T1 down. At this point, they're going to want to start looking towards that mid T1 and getting as much of the map as they can. It does look like Wukong's trying to posture with that Yasuo and the Lulu. Can they find Heppo here? There's going to be a huge shockwave, but the Cyclone goes through. The flash forward, Soden having a hard time to catch, but that's going to be the Wild Growth, followed up by the Yasuo, who's able to just get that last breath and annihilate the Orianna, and the Yasuo Cup finally being put to work.
If at first you don't succeed, try again to get the Wombo combo. The Cyclone doesn't get followed up on, but the Wild Growth does get the last breath all the way from downtown. Blastburn going to be on the board. 1 kill available for this Yasuo, and the grass will make him tanky enough to actually play out the rest of this team fights.
Objectives going to be down for another 2 minutes. Of course, that Yasuo still working on scaling. Vayne and Olaf still running this rift. Neither have collided in a fight yet, and I think that's one of the burning questions on our mind with these objectives spawning in 2 minutes. Sojan going for a bit of a cheeky invade here. He's going to be forced to flash away. He does stay alive, but he commits his flash for nothing but a Raptor camp.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just get a little bit hungry. You try to get a little bit of extra gold in your pocket, and you have to burn your gold summoner spells instead. So, Sojan going to be losing out on that flash. Thankfully, at the very least, not going to be losing his life. But losing that flash before Dragon is so huge here, especially when they're Chemtech Drakes. These Chemtech Dragons are so good when it comes to the individual dragons, right? Anything that gives tenacity is going to be something that you're going to be worried about. Now, tenacity against Texas A&M Maroon might not be as much of a concern, considering that most of their CC is in the raw knockups, but we're going to have to see whether or not Texas A&M Maroon can actually be in a position to pick these up, or if XSV Neon is going to continue to run the map.
At this point, as much as those stats are nice, it is still going to be 15 minutes for one of these teams to find Soul if they can capture the next 3 in a row. And at that point, I think, what do you think when it comes to the late game of this? What team do you think has more of an advantage? To me, it looks really even the later this game goes. Of course, Vayne gets super strong the later the game goes, and so does Yasuo. But on the other side, you have a really good poke comp plus an Olaf to go all in if you need. And I don't think anyone in this game is ever matching that Olaf in the side lane.
Nobody's ever going to be able to match Iron Blast in the side lane. Now, the biggest concern that I have right here is if Heppo goes for full damage, right? If on this Orianna, Heppo picks up that Shadow Flame, picks up, the extra damage needed to just pop I Will Glide, good luck playing the game, right? I mean, you put the ball directly onto Iron Blast, goes directly in towards the Vayne, does not matter how much that Vayne tries and hopes and prays to be able to kite things out. You are getting popped 6 ways to Sunday, but here comes another team fight.
There's going to be a Cyclone. Morbidly Obese does not get away. G Mumu going to use that Crescent Guard to try to cause a bit of tirade, but it's not going to be enough. It does get a 5-man Shockwave, but there's no one there to follow it up. Here finally comes the Olaf, trying to stay on top of I Will Glide, but switches targets, flashes forward, does find the Vayne, but it might be too little too late. Able to run away, finds the Mordekaiser off the back of a crazy undertow, and now it's 3 for 2. Yasuo gets stunned up. Heppo gonna get the final work, and it's a 4 for 2 in that play.
A 4 for 2. It looked beautiful for Texas A&M Maroon.
Gonna use that Crescent Guard to try to cause a bit of tirade, but it's not gonna be enough. It does get a 5-man Shockwave.
It started off with one engage from Texas A&M Maroon, but it ended off with a 5-man Shockwave and a flash forward from Iron Blast to just get as much damage off as possible. The Axe just going to be able to take down the Mordekaiser with a fadeaway shot, and there's just nothing that Texas A&M Maroon can do to keep their Vayne alive when Iron Blast has both summoners up.
Yeah, it's... What a play from Iron Blast there. They do get the Chemtech Drake off the back of that. They genuinely went from having nothing to kind of having everything in that fight. I thought it was over. I thought when he swapped targets at Wukong, I Will Glide should have just been able to get away, but he was able to find everything, and now you have an 8-0 Olaf. That is no quiet feat.
Yeah, 8-0 Olaf to be worried about, and Heppo slowly working on that Rocket Belt. This Orianna is going to be even harder to catch, but every single one of these moments relies on I Will Glide doing exactly that.
There's going to be a big cyclone.
In the meantime,
Brain gets annihilated from the face of the map. 0-4. Karma's been having a bit of a hard time this match, I want to say. I don't think they've had a lot of angles, but I don't think it's an easy Karma game either.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a difficult one. You don't have too many people to walk with you into the jungle a lot of the time when you actually want to be able to clear out some of this vision. In the meantime, Iron Blast looking for the Wukong.
Iron Blast really trying to accelerate an advantage. Of course, Olaf is a champion that wants to do that. And at this point, I mean, 9,000 gold coming up on the cusp of that 3rd item. You got a minute till Baron. I genuinely think the best thing for XSV to do is just try to 20-minute Baron and find an end to this game. I think at the end of the day, that Vayne is strong, but if you can keep that Vayne away, or Iron Blast kills them, you win every team fight at the moment. You don't want Yasuo to find his way into the game. Yasuo delaying his power spike a bit by buying that Chemtech sword, which I'm curious, Anti, what's your opinion on that Chemtech sword buy from the Yasuo?
Oh, I think it's totally fine here. A lot of the times, Yasuo, when it comes to a second item, is going to be going straight into a Mortal Reminder when it's against a team that has some sort of healing on it. And against a team that has things like the Mordekaiser available, why not pick up that Mortal Reminder? It's a matter of whether or not picking up these healing reduction items is going to delay your build, and Yasuo a lot of the time does actually enjoy picking these up, so it's pretty standard. Nothing too crazy. In the meantime, just gonna get a little bit of harassment going on I'm Blast, just trying to make sure that the Olaf can't recall, can't get that extra healing from the passive off either, but yeah, nothing too crazy over here. Honestly, if there's anything to be said, it's the fact that we are not going to be getting a Shadow Flame on this Orianna. It's going to be the Rocket Belt, which, you know, allows you to be a little bit better at surviving, but survivability is not the play of the game. The play of the game is whether or not you can just pop this Vayne in the beginning of a team fight.
I would agree with you. Survivability is not really what you're looking for, especially the Orianna is strong, but Sojin gonna find an incredible engage here on Morbidly Obese. Morbidly Obese not gonna be able to get away, and Olaf still in that bot lane. There's gonna be a crazy condemn coming off the Vayne, forces the flash out of G Mumu, and this could be a Baron angle. Of course, Yasuo wind wall able to block a lot of damage if they need. The question is, do they have the balls to go for this take? They found the pick. Olaf is on the split. There's gonna be the TP coming from the Orianna back to the mid lane. Lulu trying to keep them away. Wind Become Lightning not going to land. Can they find the Baron? No, they're going to step off of it now that they have the TP coming out of I'm Blast. Can I'm Blast find a kill? Jasmine might be caught, forced to flash, but they burn the Ragnarok. Ragnarok going to be down now. This could be the turn they're looking for. There's going to be a huge shockwave, but J-Robo able to pull I'm Blast out of the fight. Vayne not there, though. J-Robo not looking bad. Might be able to find I'm Blast himself, but the shield's a little bit too big. And now JJ Robo forced to stick under the turret. There's going to be, wow, the True Shot Barrage barely missing, and ultimately a lot of nothing happening there.
Yeah, not too much happening in the end. A little bit more of a chase here. Blastburn trying to make sure to take down G-Mumu early on, and will absolutely do so. No ultimates needed from the side of Jasmine Wolves. Just good, strong play from the side of Texas A&M Maroon. They understand their win conditions. They're going to play to it. Now, I'm Blast, the next time he has the Ghost available and the Flash available, it's going to be very difficult for I Will Glide to actually be able to exist in these fights. But as long as Texas A&M Maroon can continue to get these picks, can continue to get these early kills before the fights start, you're going to be able to see the contests onto these important jungle champions, these not champions, but creeps, right? These big objectives like this Chemtech Drag is almost certainly going to be given up by the side of XSV Neon. I'm Blast posturing threateningly with no ghost.
There's going to be a shockwave on I Will Glide and J-Robo. However, there comes the Cyclone in the back. They find too. The Condemn is going to land on G-Mumu. They find G-Mumu as well, and now their attentions are turned to that Baron. It might have been a bit of an overzealous play here from XSV, but I'm Blast still alive in this fight if needed. They might not be able to take Baron with I'm Blast up. They are down a lot of ultimates, all of their ultimates but Wild Growth on the cutting room floor at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I'm
so
Blast
difficult to
takes the
actually
Blast
survive.
Cone right on top of Jasmine Wolf. Jasmine Wolf gonna fall. Flash forward on I Will Glide, but the Ragnarok gonna end. It might still not be enough to condemn back, though. I'm Blast could be caught out. Can JJ Robo find the angle? Morbidly Obese gonna be the one who gets caught in the death realm. I'm Blast gonna be able to survive because of it. But it's a big turn. XSV able to keep them from going to Baron, but they lose so much for it.
Yeah, I'm Blast getting a little bit extra hype. He did not have the Ghost available. This is what I've said, right? If I'm Blast has both summoners available, this Vayne just has so much trouble actually getting to exist in a lot of these fights. Ooh, just a little love tap coming in from Sojan, but in the end, I'm Blast still going to be able to get right back to base. Nothing too crazy to be worrying about. But look at this, right? You have the Stride Breaker, you have the Death Stance on board, and you have the Hex Plate. It's just so difficult to actually survive against champions when they have a 9 kill lead under their belt here. 16-15 in the favor of Texas A&M Maroon, but far from favorable in terms of the gold.
Oh, there's gonna be a huge shockwave, but the last breath able to go forward. Heppo gonna be found, and it's a shutdown over to Yasuo, who has achieved the second item, gonna be working on that third. However, Sojan might be caught here, is trying to flash the turret, gets away a little bit longer. There's gonna be the knockup from Blastburn. Well, Sojan is caught. Sojan is caught, does try to claw through, gets a lot of damage, almost blows up Morbidly Obese, but ultimately is still gonna be able to go down here. Baron is an objective up, and without the enemy jungler, maybe it's a look right now for XSV.
Yeah, maybe. I will say, Sojan, I believe this is an electrocute Wukong, has been doing so much damage with this Profane Hydra, with the Serpent's Fang. Like, the Death Stance is there to keep Sojan alive, but it feels like Sojan doesn't really care about the surviving part, simply just cares about taking down anyone who looks at him wrong.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Sojan, very aggressive on this Wukong, and although it's worked a lot of the time, it has caused him to get caught here and there. It's still worth it, even if you look at it as a 1-for-1 for that shutdown, right? You do get that shutdown over on Yasuo. Yasuo halfway to his next item. What do you think he's looking at building with that Noon Quiver right now?
That's just going to be a shield bow. Like, this is a very standard Yasuo build. I mean, if you've ever watched P-Zang, I'm almost certain that Blastburn's literally stealing this build, like, directly from a P-Zang video.
Oh, G-Mumu on that invade, super caught. Condemn goes through. It's once again a pick on the enemy jungler. Can Texas A&M Maroon turn this into a bear? That could put them back on the map of the Crescent. Oh, God. Bye, Lulu. It's just pick after pick right now. Everyone's stepping out of position and each team turning it on repeat.
Yeah, Chovy Belt gonna come in handy for the side of XSV Neon.
I'm Blast also coming in handy. Stride Breaker, JJ Robo isn't able to find all of it, and now Sojan, a little bit of a weird look that he found. I think he was trying to keep JJ Robo safe, but it's gonna come at the cost of his life. And now XSV should have a free T2 in this top lane. And maybe they turn their attention to the next dragon. It would be their third dragon. It's a Chemtech dragon, of course. Getting close to that soul.
Yeah, Chemtech soul point is definitely something you have to be worried about. It's coming up in 40 seconds, and you might see Blastburn in the area be able to get the Scuttle Crab early, able to get that early vision, but not going to be able to deny the dragon take entirely from the side of XSV Neon.
I'm very curious to see how this fight plays out. They are going to have river control. I think it's really hard right now for Texas A&M Maroon to walk in. I almost would rather than posture around Baron and try to take control there and force like a fight around that. But G-Mumu gonna find Jasmine Wolf's flash. Getting ready. There's not a ton of vision set up here. Outside of that Scuttle Crab for Texas, I really want to see Texas play the opposite side of the map here. I don't think they can walk into this.
Yeah, I mean, the name of the game has always been denial.
There's going to be the Cyclone. Morbidly Obese going to be the first to fall. G-Mumu caught on the Crescent Guard. Eyeball Glide going to find G-Mumu, and maybe I'm wrong. It looks like Texas just walked in through the front door and found a free kill.
Yeah, G-Mumu going down, Morbidly Obese going down. I'm Blast is in the area, though, has the Ghost available, has the Ragnarok.
There's it going to be. He tries to run an Eyeball Glide, isn't able to get all the way. Dragon going to be pulled off here as they completely chunk I'm Blast, force the Ghost all the way back to his base, and there's going to be Dragon for Texas A&M Maroon. They have just unlocked a real win con in their bouts on that third Dragon. 5 more minutes, they could guarantee themselves a Chemtech Soul if they can win the fight. And a Chemtech Soul is going to make it so hard for Olaf to ever get on top of that van and get through the rest of their team.
Yeah, it's so difficult for the side of XSV Neon here. 4,000 gold up, but still not going to be able to make use of all of that gold because they keep on getting picked again and again and again. G-Mumu, 7 deaths on this Xin Zhao. Albeit, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to avoid getting caught out when your opponent's building full damage like this Wukong is, right? In the meantime, they're going hunting.
There's going to be the hunt on. Sojan looks pretty caught, but the Wild Growth going to keep him alive a little bit longer. G-Mumu, there's a Crescent Guard. It knocks 3 towards Ezreal. Ragnarok popped. Blastburn might have found Jimumu, but the Ragnarok is going hard right now. But I'm Blast not able to commit to it fully. I Will Glide shows up late, but is still super powerful. Finds 2. And now it's a 3v2. Can Jasmine Wolf get away? The answer is no, but there's going to be the last breath. Blastburn finds Morbidly Obese. Heppo finds Blastburn. Oh my god, it's 1 for 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 1.
And the controversial one-at-a-time strat continues to reign supreme. Texas A&M Maroon continually going down again and again. XSV Neon has their Orianna available, just taking extra place in that mid lane. But let's take a look at this fight one more time. This is an old fight here. But as you can see, right, it's all been about Iron Blast from the get-go. Able to do so much damage in some of these early fights here. But XSV Neon have been able to pick up the pieces even when Iron Blast isn't available for some of these fights. It's just so difficult to see whether or not Texas A&M Maroon have an answer, have an opportunity, right? I've said time and time again that no matter how fed your carries get, they're not getting any tankier. Vayne, one of the few exceptions, building out that Terminus, building out that experimental Hexplate, trying to find a way to build into that eventual tanky Vayne. But in the end, even with a Lulu on your backside, you're not going to be able to survive against just the incredible onslaught from XSV Neon.
Yeah, I think right now it really is coming down to, can they ever find a way to kill that Vayne? I feel like if that Vayne's up, it's going well. But of course, having the Orianna and the Olaf together now is what's really keeping this alive. That Orianna is finding so much work in these fights.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing Heppo just do so much work here. And one thing that I will also note that is going to be the Zhonya's pickup is still not going to be a Shadow Flame. So it's not going to be a matter of just raw damage on this Orianna. It's going to be a matter of trying to stay alive, which honestly, I respect it, right? You see how much damage that Wukong is building. You see that Sojan is just always trying for that suicidal play. If you're invincible, you don't have to worry about it.
Finds the wind become lightning on Asia charge knock-up. It's a huge knock-up. It forces the wild growth out. That's going to be one knock-up tool down for that Yasuo, who is getting very, very strong now that he has that shield bow under his belt. Forces a retreat under the turret, but the wave clear is just not very good for Texas.
Yeah, there's no wave clear on this team when the best wave clear that you have is a Wukong diving forward with his E. You already understand just how dire the wave clear really is. I mean, Profane Hydra can really only do so much. That is far from what I would call safe wave clear. But in the meantime, I'm Blast going to safely keep on running down this bot lane, even with more and more damage going to be taken up here. Fiend Hunter bolts even on the Olaf now. I mean, the moment that I'm Blast ults and then flashes directly onto the Vayne, does not matter how much tankiness you can actually pick up. I Will Glide in so much trouble.
I Will Glide is indeed in a lot of trouble when that is happening right in their face. We are starting to see, though, I think, I'm Blast fall off a little bit. I'm Blast has been having a bit of a harder time playing some of these fights when the Ragnarok's getting popped early, and in the chaos that this game has been. It's getting more and more difficult, especially with the controversial 1 in, 1 out, 1 in, 1 out, 1 in, 1 out. Dragon spot,
controversial
though.
1 at a time strat, definitely not going to be the play as we have the Chemtech Soul available on the map. I'm Blast on the backside looking at this dragon right now, but neither jungler is anywhere close. Look at the flanks.
Only find a knock-up on 3, but there's going to be the last blast. It finds 3 of them here. Jimumu going to be the first to fall. Ragnarok not going to do enough as Sojin has scaled. That's going to be a double kill on I Will Glide. Make it a triple. The Vayne is going crazy. Can they make it a quadra? The answer's going to be no, actually.
But I Will Glide stays alive, does not get tagged by I'm Blast. It is going to be the near ace for the side of Texas A&M Maroon here. Let's take a look at this one more time. It's a long replay over here, but with all of this vision being set up in that top side, that's, you know, full on Baron take is looking juicy for the side of Texas A&M Maroon. Sojan not even needed for this one. It's all going to fall on I Will Glide, and this is even before a Jack Shows comes onto the horizon. This Vayne is terrifying to say the least.
Yeah, I don't really know how you deal with this Vayne at this point. They are just so strong, and if you're not getting... If you're not getting
that's
on
a
top
bork
of them,
pickup.
they're just it's just a free kills going over, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be extremely difficult to deal with this Vayne, especially with the Chemtech Soul available. Now, the number one thing that I think that this team has to do is you have to just build enough damage you can pop Vayne immediately, right? I'm Blast, G-Moo-Moo just need to be able to find a way how to get on top of the Vayne, and that Shockwave will tear straight through her. But the question is whether or not that Shockwave will actually do enough to threaten I Will Glide. And what I will say is, with this kind of a build, decidedly no, that will not be able to truly threaten I Will Glide here. Meanwhile, this tower going down so fast.
One of the big things I think that's a bit of an issue with the comp of Texas A&M Maroon is they can only ever find push with Baron. But they do have Chemtech Soul. Chemtech Soul does so much for them, and if they're winning fight, they're gonna get the push. They just need to be finding fights at the end of the day. If they can find fights in Barons, they win the game. If they can't, they lose. But now they're pretty ahead. It might be even in the gold range, but a 13-4 Vayne is the person doing the most in this entire match. They have Serpent's Fang on the Sojan. They have Heel Cut on the Yasuo. They got the GA up. And, I mean, Vayne's one defensive item away from never being able to die. Probably a Jack Show. It's looking so good right now for Texas. And considering they're the team in 7th place, the team guaranteed to not make playoffs. They are giving the first place team of Ascendant a run for their money.
Yeah, Texas A&M Maroon are not down here because they've been pushovers. They have made everyone fight for their wins against them. It's always been a close match each and every time, but Texas A&M Maroon right now on the verge of taking out XSV Neon in game number 1. Take a look at how much gold this Baron's brought back to them. The gold lead essentially gone.
There is no gold lead. The gold lead is fake. It's dead. It's died in the water despite them being 3, 4, 5K up, I think, at one point. It's been the glide. Yasuo pretty well online at this point. The 3 items doing quite a bit. The 4th item almost underway. Should be up before this Elder Drake fight. Wukong is very strong at those 4 items. And even Mordekaiser has found his way back in that game. And now, of course, with the Death Realm available, he might not ever be able to ult I'm Blast, but he's able to get on Jamumu and ruin the front line completely from XSV Neon.
Yeah, I mean, I will also note, right, I am genuinely a little bit confused as to what exactly Blastburn is building, because, you know, we have the... hold on.
God! Wait, Cyclone has just been whiffed! There is no Cyclone up for about another minute and a half here. As Wukong, this could be the angle they need. XSV Lust should be looking for a big play with that huge ultimate burned.
Yeah, and you can see XSV Neon just walking down that mid lane, trying to threaten this tower. They do have I'm Blast back down in the bot lane, making sure that there's no counter push from the side of Texas A&M Maroon. But in the end, we're just going to see this Olaf continue to push down the side lane, continue to not be the big threat that he was in the early game. That is a fully completed Infinity Edge on I'm Blast. But if you cannot auto I Will Glide, is it even worth it? I Will Glide this time opting for a Phantom Dancer, actually not even going to be opting for the Jack Show. Says, hey, I don't care if I can take more damage from random AoE if I simply dodge everything.
It is a ballsy buy coming from I Will Glide. Going for Phantom Dancer could be game ruining at the end of the day. Jack Show is such a good item on Vayne. It's like the one defensive item Vayne really excels with. But if you think you can just out-move, out-rotate, maybe I Will Glide just has the hands that Jack Show wouldn't even be relevant, and that they're really putting all their faith in themselves. Of course, Yasuo at this point, I think, is pretty online. Doesn't look like he's going to have his item for this fight, though. And, of course, the Cyclone back up. Everyone dancing around this Elder Drake. 45 seconds to spawn. Baron going to follow it. But if you get Elder, you probably ace and win the match anyways. That Baron, pretty irrelevant unless we see a trade here. And I think it's safe to say that nobody's going to go for a trade with this Elder Drake up. This fight truly determines the game. The question is, who's going to be able to find it? Is it going to be Texas A&M Maroon? Or is it going to be XSV Neon?
Yeah, XSV Neon able to pick up the pieces, able to get the early control of this jungle, able to get early control of the wave. The superior wave clear from the side of XSV Neon really coming into play here. Now, no Phantom Dancer quite yet available for the side of Texas A&M Maroon, but with this Elder Drag coming up, this fight is bound to be enormous. Look at Sojan on the flank. Extremely important figure there. Mega Cone available.
Here we go. Wards placed, both teams in the river. That Dragon already going to reset. There's going to be the True Shot Barrage getting some damage out. Sojan finds the Karma, but Karma able to get away. Last breath going to be used. Morbidly Obese trying to run. Ragnarok uses a defensive tool to get out. Vayne is going to find the Olaf. Still alive in this fight. Morbidly Obese by himself. No team to go with him. Can't fight the Vayne on his own. But the Xin Zhao still alive. Jimumu. Can you find a steal? Your team needs you right now, Jamumu. If you find the steal, the game is alive. If you don't, it's dead. And you're not even gonna try it. They're just going to take a back. And I think it's safe to say this one might be in the record books. Jamumu gonna get caught here as well. Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, we can see right here, JJ Robo just able to take down Jimumu right before the Baron. And you were criticizing it earlier, Romeo. You said that there's no way this team can push unless the Baron's available. Well, how about you put a purple worm on that hook? And this is a huge turn to the start of this series.
I mean, yeah, you have Baron. You have Elder. This should be the game. There should be nothing left in the tank for XSV Neon. At this point, all they can hope is that all your routers go offline.
Yeah, I was thinking I was going to go for a PD for even more survivability, but who cares about PD when you can just have more damage for the Vayne? I Will Glide just able to play so well in a lot of these fights, but the fights aren't even what we're talking about anymore. It's all about the end of the game.
Yeah, Sojan gonna find that Cyclone. Good night to Brain. There's gonna be a huge shockwave. Heppo goes golden for no reason there, but I'm Blast does find Jasmine Wolf. Technically a 1-for-1 right now, and they're chunked to half. Maybe if they can avoid I Will Glide, this could be a play. They chunk Blastburn even more here. 1:20 left on the Elder, but there's a huge split push at the moment coming from Mordecai, so they're going to turn their attention to him. Can they get the kill? They're marching there. I Will Glide going to get chunked a little bit by Morbidly Obese, but if Morbidly Obese gets jumped on, he's absolutely dead. There's going to be the Mordekaiser backing here. Only a minute left on this Elder Dragon.
1 minute left on Elder. I Will Glide is available, but without the Lulu, without Jasmine Wolves, you lose out on so much of your survivability. You have to be so careful here. In the meantime, Jimumu is just having a little bit of fun with the Gromp, but that's neither here nor there. In the meantime, Blastburn on the Yasuo, able to do so much work in buying space for I Will Glide. The wind walls, the last breaths, so much of this work to follow up off of Sojan. Make sure that there's no one who can pay attention to I Will Glide without losing someone in response.
Yeah, everyone kind of has to be paying attention to I Will Glide, but if you can find your trades like they did there, like they did on the Jasmine Wolf, this game is still winnable. Elder down in 8 seconds. They're on the last 10 seconds. They don't have a play to make. It's just Baron now up for Texas A&M Maroon.
Yeah, just Baron available for another 45 seconds, but these waves are still difficult to make work. I'm Blast has an in.
Not gonna take it. Says, I need to be with my team right now. Is just gonna back and meet his team in the mid lane. 30 seconds left on this Baron. They might have survived the Baron Elder push. Oh, God. They look for the engage on Mordekaiser, and they're gonna lose their inhib in the mid lane for it.
Yeah, no waves pushed up on the bot side, but we have one wave coming in on top. I'm Blast looking for an angle. Still not going to be able to do it. Sojan
not going to be able to find the Cyclone. That's a huge ult burn. There's the Shockwave Crescent Guard from Xin Orianna. The Ragnarok goes through. Can they finish the job? I Will Glide, barely alive, but he does live, and he does glide, and that's going to be the game. I Will Glide stays out of the range and finds everything he needs to. Finds Brain, make it a triple. It's over. It's completely over as I Will Glide, finishing the job.
Yeah, and I'm Blast tried to claw his way forward to that backline. I Will Glide just able to survive just barely long enough. Jasmine Wolf's keeping that monster alive, and Texas A&M Maroon take down first seed XSV Neon in game 1.
Just take a look at this last fight again. The Cyclone might have got whiffed, but just watch how I Will Glide stays away from everything. The Ragnarok goes through.
Yeah, there's just the polymorph, the wild growth, just everything burned from Jasmine Wolf to keep I Will Glide alive. And that Chemtech Soul pays out dividends. So much damage from this Vayne, so much survivability, so much tenacity, and there's just no way to take out this monster. I Will Glide huge on this Vayne, but even huger work from the rest of the team to facilitate this strength. You can't put all your eggs in one basket, and they absolutely did not. Texas A&M Maroon looking to topple the standings in a match that shouldn't have mattered for anything.
No, and that's the thing. This might not matter, but Texas A&M Maroon showing the ultimate question, right? If you are a team and you're eliminated from playoffs, but in the last week of the season, you dethrone the #1 team, that is a question that will sit with every viewer, regardless of who wins playoffs. And when Texas A&M Maroon hopefully comes back to Titan, what will that mean for the rest of the league, knowing what they might accomplish here tonight? It is the underdog story. It is the final stand. It is, like what I said, Halo Reach. All the Spartans lined up. They know they're going to go down. The question is, can they make their names known before they do it? And if you want to find out if they can finish the story, you got to stick around. So we're going to go to a quick intermission. We'll be back with Game 2. Can Texas A&M Maroon find a 2-0 over the reigning, defending league champions right here? gentlemen, welcome back as we get ready for the cusp of Game 2. Of course, Texas A&M Maroon taking on XSV Neon.
Yeah, XSV Neon coming in as the #1 seed, the #1 team through the entirety of the season. But in the end, it is Texas A&M Maroon that are putting them on the brink, making sure that every team knows that the teams that didn't make playoffs are still ones you have to worry about. Texas A&M Maroon, beautifully done. Game #1. Top side was a little bit rough, but on their bot side, they managed to get I Will Glide ahead. And let me tell you, this man has been able to play so well throughout the entirety of the season. I Will Glide and Jasmine Wolves together as a dynamic duo have been playing incredibly well together. And I'm super excited to see whether or not they have something cooked up in store for us for game #2.
Well, draft going to be underway here. We're going to go to the bans. Do you expect to see anything different this time? As the Zahen going to be the first thing taken away?
Yeah, you don't want to really be dealing with Zahen in this meta. That champion just gets completely and totally, picked each and every time. Very strong in the top lane, very strong in the jungle, and flex picks are always something you don't want to be dealing with. Twitch going to be taken away from I Will Glide. There's going to be a few more AD carry focused bans, I would anticipate. Likely not going to be seeing any Mel presence this time around because these teams don't really have so much priority on that champion, even when some of these backline divers are removed, which is what makes Mel so great to begin with. But in the end, we're seeing the Nunu going to be taken away again. The Jarvan also going to be taken away and not going to have any of these point and click team fight champions. Instead, what are we taking for blue side first pick?
Ooh, Nocturne.
Nocturne.
A diver coming out. Maybe Mel has some more presence here. Orianna not going to be able to be paired with the Nocturne here, but it is going to be a raw Nocturne. What would you like to see combined with it on the Texas side?
I mean, honestly, okay, well, we see the Seraphine, so I was going to say that we might be seeing something like the Nocturne Galio, but when you have the Seraphine available, you almost always take Mel in response. You take Braum in response, right? These champions that can do a huge amount of work against that Encore, against that champion as a whole. But right now, Ashe Seraphine going to be taken for XSV Neon. The Vel'Koz being picked up here. I actually love a good Vel'Koz pick. Now, whether or not you have anyone to actually pair with the Nocturne is actually pretty dang important. There is the Mel pick that we were talking about. I'm expecting this to be a Vel'Koz 80 carry and a Mel mid, but it's honestly a lot easier to be placing that Mel in the bot lane against that Ashe Seraphine and the Vel'Koz in that mid lane. But you have to be very careful on the side of Texas A&M Maroon as to whether or not you can deal with some of these backline diving champions as a response. Malphite, big deal here. Thankfully, Silas is going to be taken off the table by XSV Neon, so we're not going to be seeing easy game-winning ult steals.
Yeah, but Malphite, is that a Malphite jungle?
It could be, which is why you take it here, so that way you can threaten the Malphite jungle as a pick. And I mean, what are you gonna do to threaten a Malphite jungle as a Nocturne, right? You're gonna farm faster?
Why did Texas ban Gwen?
My thought is that Texas A&M Maroon say, all right, well, we do see that it is going to be a Malphite, and we think it's going to be a Malphite jungle. So if we take something like an Ornn in the top lane, we don't want to be dealing with a Gwen as a response here. Sona going to be taken up for the support position. I honestly really love Sona with this kind of a team composition. As long as you can keep these team fights as long as possible for Texas A&M Maroon, you are very happy with that Mel. Mundo going to be taken up here. There we we go. So there's that champion in the top lane who can keep this game and this team fight running for as long as possible while not wanting to deal with some of these champions that make your low health life a living hell, like Gwen or Garen. So Yone going to be taken up for the final pick of XSV Neon, probably going to be going to I'm Blast on that top side. But in the end, while we do have a surprise pick of the Vel'Koz and a mildly surprising pick on that Sona, this is a relatively standard position to be in for Texas A&M Maroon. I would have loved to see the Mel in the bot lane instead of the Vel'Koz, but it's still workable at the very least.
I see chat saying that they don't think this is necessarily a good Mundo game, but I actually don't hate it. I do think he has a bit of a hard time into that Yone, but I do think that Mundo can really negate a lot of what they want to do and pair with that Nocturne really well, right? That Nocturne is going to be diving in deep, and Mundo can just kind of walk through everybody and get on top of them. And when you have picks like Mel and Vel'Koz, they're happy to just shoot lasers at people while the rest of your team walk right in there. So I actually do kind of really love this Mundo pick. I'm just worried to see how he fares in a Yone.
I don't really know, right? Like, I think that the Mundo pick is interesting. I am always a hater of blind pick Mundo, right? So I don't really like the Mundo pick here. I would have much rather seen something like an Ornn. So you have the Nocturne ult available, and when Paranoia is down, nobody can see anything, nobody can dodge the Ornn horn, right? It makes things much easier. But the big thing that Mundo does bring to these team fights is Mundo survives forever, right? Mundo and Nocturne dive into the backline, they manage to survive for absolutely forever, and everyone has to turn around and deal with them. And when they're turning around and dealing with them, that Mel passive is stacking up and up and up and up, and Sona is able to keep them alive, making it so much more difficult to actually exist against this team. I don't think Mundo's necessarily the best in slot pick here. I think that an Ornn pick, especially once Mordekaiser's taken off the table, is absolutely insane value, but this is neither here nor there. You can just cry all you want about what is available or what could have been available, but what we're seeing right here is going to be a full-on last stand from XSV Neon, the team that we absolutely anticipated to be the ones taking it.
Yeah, what's really funny is if Texas A&M Maroon win this match, their season ends. But if Texas A&M Maroon loses, they get one more game in their season.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point. That's a good point, you know.
Get one extra match in screen time, but of course, if they win this, a dominant 2-0 over the first place team, that sends a message on your way out the door, and that's kind of been the story of this game. Can Texas send a message on their way out?
Yeah, can they? Will they? Only time will tell. But in the meantime, we're just going to get more and more damage going off in this mid lane. Mel versus Victor, not exactly the happiest position for a Mel to be. In the meantime, I will glide. Not going to be doing too much gliding on a champion like Vel'Koz. Instead, just going to be playing very far away, looking to survive for as long as possible, while JJ Robo just going to be taking a lot of damage from I'm Blast on that top side. Yone, a phenomenal pick into the Mundo, especially because he builds that Blade of the Rune King directly into the Mortal Reminder as a very standard pickup here. So this is 2 games in a row that we're going to be seeing some, wind-focused Bork into Mortal Reminder, but this time from the other side of things. So Texas A&M Maroon right now trying to hold on to this early laning phase, but it's looking pretty rough.
Yeah, and I think one of the issues with the draft Texas is they do kind of find themselves in a position where they have 2 losing lanes and an even one when it comes to push. Like, one of the good things about the mage support is you can kind of leave them alone and send your support to roam, but Sona's not going to be getting a lot of roams here. Your top lane is in a hard losing match, and it's kind of on Nocturne to really carry this game, but when you have 3 losing lanes, is he going to be safe in the jungle? Now, to be fair, Malphite's not a champion that traditionally is looking for a lot of invade. They're looking to hit 6 as quick as they can and do a lot around the map with that unstoppable force. And then On the other side, I mean, Yone's bought Cull here. It's a bit of an interesting buy, but Yone could definitely find his way significantly ahead of this Malphite, or this Dr. Mundo, on the basis that you can pop his passive for free on repeat. Yeah. This is such a hard lane for Mundo to play.
Yeah, you can pop his passive for free on repeat. You can definitely hold these waves very, very easily. Now, the thing is to note, Iron Blast did not take Ignite, right? Iron Blast actually took the teleport and was able to pick up that Cull off of a cheater recall. In the meantime, we are going to be getting a lot of focus from Sojan to make sure that this wave isn't in an unsalvageable spot here. So already some difficulties in that top side. I am a big Mundo blind pick hater, and this game is not helping my case.
As a Mundo blind pick lover, this game is also not helping my case. It is. Oh, God. I really like the Mundo blind pick, but I don't think Yone makes this easy for him. I think the thing with Mundo, though, is he will still scale into the game, and he can still get a lot done in the team fights. And he'll be safe. Like, Yone shouldn't be able to kill him. It's just going to be a CS gap, but right now I will glide on top of Morbidly Obese here. The question is, can they finish the job? Wait, Iron Blast could go down here. It could be a first blood for J-Robo. Can he find the angle? Iron Blast going to be sent back to his form here as Mundo going to walk through. The question is, can he finish the job as the camera not letting us just fully watch it? It does look like Yone has gotten away here.
Yeah, not only has Iron Blast gotten away, Iron Blast managed to get the wave fully pushed under a tower. So JJ Rogo, even with the strongest start of a lifetime, not going to be able to get that kill there. Iron Blast slinks away, has the teleport available, just going to be picking up the early Vampiric Scepter, meaning that even after taking a bunch of the early damage from the Mundo, you're not going to be taking much of the sticking damage in return. Heppo -1. That's honestly going to hurt quite a lot for the Victor. But in the meantime, Blast Burn on this Mel just going to continue to farm up as much as possible, falling behind a decent bit here as the first dragon goes down to the side of XSV Neon.
And it is an Ocean Drake coming up. Of course, that 2% missing health every 5 seconds. Had we found it on Texas A&M Maroon, Mundo gets a much nicer time lane. But now with this, I mean, the poke damage from the bot lane in Texas is going to do a lot less here to XSV.
Yeah, especially because we know for a fact that, you know, Ocean Soul not going to be a possibility for either of these teams. Neither is going to be Mountain Soul. And Iron Blast just going to continue to get a lot of this, you know, this damage off again and again and again. And Sojan's just trying.
Finally going to go through, but Iron Blast has that Phase and Shield available, is going to use it on the Mundo. Mundo, of course, maximum dosage keeps him alive a little bit longer. Iron Blast trying to get away. Can he find the Sojin? The answer is no, as Nocturne is going to find their first kill of the match. It's a first blood for Sojin.
Yeah, and a psychopathic gank from Sojan. Literally stayed in that bush for over a minute waiting to make it happen. God. But once again, just more and more fighting going in the favor of Texas A&M Maroon. It looks poor for them at first, but they manage to make that comeback every time. Can't make that comeback if you're down to begin with. So right here, Texas A&M Maroon showing their chops. Sojan just waited in that top lane bush for ages on ages, misses the Q of all things, but no matter what you do as Iron Blast, you cannot get away from both the Nocturne and the Mundo.
Oh, Paranoia is going to come through right now. There's going to be the Fear. Seraphine forced to flash away, but it's not going to result in any kill for them. There's going to be the Life Force Disintegration Ray. Almost finds the Seraphine immediately there. It was really close on the back of that level 6 being hit by a glide, but ultimately it's not enough to get the job done. I imagine we'll see Nocturne here very, very soon. Again.
Yeah, I mean, Sojan has been playing it relatively desperate is the way how I would put it, right? Patient is one thing, but some of these ults, some of these ganks are things that just take so much time away from this Nocturne's existence. In the meantime, G-Mumu has been able to pick up an almost 30 CS lead on this Malphite. Not a single one of these ultimates have shown up in a lane just yet, though, is what I say. And take a look at this mid lane. We're seeing G-Mumu walk straight through. Not going to be able to get much going, though.
Nothing going to be going through just yet. There's going to be a crazy crystal arrow. Binds the Mel. Mel's going to be stunned for days. The gravity field is going to finish the job as the crescendo doesn't do enough to keep the Mel alive, rather. Surprise, was the rebuttal burnt before that, or was it just such a shock to see the crystal arrow come flying through?
The rebuttal was actually burnt on a death ray from Heppo, so it was definitely still down. In the meantime, Sojan in a lot of trouble here.
Flash for flash as G-Mumu trying to stay on top of them. Lots of damage comes through for Sojan, but again, the 3 losing lanes, you're not going to be able to defend your jungle here. This is the result of picking a Nocturne with no one in a pushing lane.
Yeah, in the meantime, Jasmine in a little bit of a sticky situation. Actually dodges every single one of those skill shots.
The paranoia with the gravity wells placed. Doesn't matter, doesn't do enough as Brain does fall. Mel going to be able to pick up the kill, and G-Mumu looks like they're caught. They've kind of blabbered it as they went back in to just start autoing the Gentle Crab. I think they just had to kind of assume they were dead. And with that, Grubs are going to be picked up.
Yeah, and Grubs are humongous for a team with multiple mages. The biggest thing that these mage bot lanes fail to provide are these tower-taking prowess AD carries. But at the very least, when you have 3 Grubs, it makes things so much easier for you. So take a look at this right here. Brain, after whiffing the encore, Jasmine Wolves literally just dances around each and every one of them. The paranoia comes on in. The follow-up is good. Blastburn picks up the kill onto Brain, and G-Mumu understands there is no way out of this. Just all of these infected bone cleavers being extremely difficult to get away from, and the Malphite with no ult available is just very stoppable.
Yeah, I am surprised we didn't see the Malphite try to run away. I mean, there is probably no way out anyways with the Mundo. I just think I would have liked to see an escape, considering he kind of just leashed the Scuttle Crab for them. Though, that is a big turn for Texas once again. Your Mel is getting very strong. Your Nocturne has found a kill into assist with 100% KP coming out of Sojan 10 minutes into this game. And now the hero or Texas A&M Maroon is in a very nice spot. Mel's in a nice spot, and you still have big insurance numbers on that Vel'Koz. As we get a
honestly, my big question here. Yeah, a little bit of a pause buffer. But one thing that I also have to note here. Take a look at Sojan's inventory once again. Are we just, doubling down on the Wukong build from the last game, right? This is another one of these profane Hydras picked up for Sojan here. So not going to be able to pick up this dragon, but now with 2 Drakes down, are we getting the Infernal Soul? Yes, we are. So Sojan right now, not in a position to contest any of these dragons, but if Texas A&M Maroon can be in the right place at the right time, that soul will be insanely high value.
Yeah, that soul, Inferno Soul, can be insane. I mean, both these sides would benefit from it, but right now it is definitely the win con of XSV Neon. 4 minutes, you expect them to put everything to that dragon. If they can get the Rift Herald before it, so it makes the dragon take easier, even nicer for you. But right now, everything needs to be before that. Paranoia going to be popped, though. Here comes Malphite on the return. The Spell Shield brought in. There's going to be the Fates and Seal. The combo goes hard as Sojan falls to G-Mumu. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Crescendo finds 2. They just don't have the damage, though, to finish the job. They do burn everything, though. They get both flashes, the heal, the barrier, and now Sojan, hopefully when that paranoia is up, can find a big angle in that bot lane.
Yeah, hopefully is definitely the term here, because as we're seeing, right, so much of this focus is on that top side. I'm Blast has been doing so well here. In the meantime, I Will Glide and Jasmine Wolves has just been holding on to this bot lane for as long as possible. Not quite enough damage on this Vel'Koz just yet to be able to 100-0 either of these champions, but it's getting closer and closer. I've said it once, I'll say it again. No matter how fed your carries get, they are not getting tankier.
They will not be getting tankier. That is an absolute fact. I think one of the things I'm curious about, right? Yone and Ashe both bought Call. How do you think that's going to impact this game as we move forward with the Call slowly getting completed?
If I'm going to be completely honest, right, I don't think it really matters all that much, right? It's a nice little gold injection, but for the most part, the big thing as to deciding whether or not you take the call is whether or not these early big item purchases are actually going to be what decides the next fight, right? And Ashe, one of those champions that really kind of needs the 2 items. Yone, another one of those champions that really starts to come online at 2 items. And the big thing about the 2 of them is that picking up a Cole does not deny them the ability to farm into Vel'Koz or Mundo, right? So this is, as far as Cole purchases are concerned, a very, very good Cole purchase. As far as impactful feeling Cole purchases are concerned, it's going to be very invisible feeling. It's a nice little added buff, but nothing too crazy. In the meantime, I Will Glide and Jasmine Wolf's both going to be a target for this Malphite, as Sojan hovering around topside once again. You got to be careful if you're Iron Blast, but I Will Glide still very far behind here, not going to be in a position where he can be.
Victor on the rotate, the Crystal Arrow going to miss, but this could be the play they're looking for. Jimumu slowly walking up. There's going to be the Unstoppable Force forward and the flash, but he misses everything completely. And with that, I Will Glide flashing out of the way does mean they should be safe from the 4-man dive, and Malice can get free gold. There's going to be the Life Force disintegration rate. The Crescendo finds it as well. Encore going to miss. So much damage comes out, but Jasmine Wolf keeps them there even longer with I Will Glide, as Mel getting free turret plates, Nocturne getting free camps, and they just got so much damage for a split blade among 3 of them. What a play from the bot lane of Texas A&M Maroon.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I was talking about, Romeo, right? It was a good look at a dive, but against teams with the Vel'Koz, with the Sona, right? You're able to play so far back. It's extremely difficult for them to actually force that dive, right? If you take a look at this one more time, I Will Glide even walks up, gets that life form disintegration rate, a lot of damage onto Jimumu. Not going to be able to kill just yet because I Will Glide hasn't had a chance to back. But now, at the very least, the Vel'Koz is able to return home. That tower might be in a little bit of danger, but that is the fully completed Luden's Echo, and this Vel'Koz is bound to do damage the later this game goes.
Yeah, those plays now where he's barely not getting enough damage to find the kill, he's gonna be finding the kill. The big difference maker though right now, I'm Blast. Level 13 to Mundo's level 11. Drake is spawning, TPs are available. You would imagine we see a Yone rotation to this dragon if needed. Crescendo is still going to be down for a bit, though. Same with the Life Force Disintegration Rib, which has finally come back online. Chunk damage going to miss from I Will Glide here. Doesn't find the knock-up either from those Void Spikes. I'm Blast is terrorizing the top lane. But the dragon underway is a scary feat. Crystal Arrow going to find Chojin Spell Shield. There's going to be Unstoppable Force forward. Paranoia goes forward, though. The damage can't be found from the carries. I'm Blast finds JJ Robo in the top lane, but Jasmine Wolf completely annihilated. There's going to be the Life Force Disintegration Ray, but it doesn't find any of them. However, Golden Eclipse does take the victor's life, and now Blastbird finds 2. They probably won't find 3, but they should be able to defend that dragon just long enough. It's a 3 for 2 at the end of the day, but the team fight completely even.
Yeah, Blastburn comes in at just the right time and turns it around for Texas A&M. One thing to note here is Topside has continued to suffer. Topside has continued to struggle. It is going to be Mundo going down on the top side during all of that. But once again, take a look at this fight. The Life Form Disintegration Ray looks good, but that double E coming in from Brain going to get reflected by the rebuttal over the wall, and all of a sudden all of those stacks just getting used on up by the Golden Eclipse. Blast Burn just able to do so much work here.
What?
And working towards that second item, Shadow Flame. In the meantime, Dragon going to be traded over. Soul Point now for XSV Neon. But when you need tower taking capability, you need tower taking capability.
I'm a little scared. I get the trade is we know they're rotating Yona. I don't necessarily think it's bad, but it is scary. You take the Rift Herald, you decided we don't win the fight, there's going to be a big paranoia forward. Victor going to get down on the crescendo, and Sojourn going to find themselves another kill. Bot turret going to be taken in return. But now you have the Rift Herald. You need to make it worth dropping the Dragon.
Oh yeah, I mean, you definitely do need to be making that worth as much as possible. In the meantime, Sojan,
Fates Unsealed gonna miss. The stun still land there. Oh god, Unstoppable Force. Good night to Sojan. What stunned him?
The Enchanted Crystal Arrow, all the way from downtown, morbidly obese, straight from bot lane, manages to get that cross map Crystal Arrow. So comes out just in time. That is 3 ultimates going to be committed for this Nocturne. I will also note there is no objective coming in quite just yet. So, you know, 1 kill coming on over. Nothing too crazy. But at the very least, good stuff to the side of XSV Neon for being able to pick up that Nocturne and punish where necessary.
Yeah, the punishments need to come forward in full swing right now. It is 3,000 gold. Oh god, there's gonna be the big charm. Paranoia though from across the map does land right on top of that Ashe. Ashe gonna be able to flash away with just a blink of HP. Tower falls. Jamumu finds the Nocturne, and now everything's looking up for XSV Neon.
Yeah, and look at how low Morbidly Obese ended up getting. It was just 1 auto away. Sojan just trying to make something happen each and every time, but just no way to catch up to the Ashe through all of those Seraphine shields. In the meantime, Blastburn just relegated to Victor duty, relegated to fighting on this bot side, not going to be able to actually join a lot of these team fights, and that's where a majority of Texas A&M Maroon's gold actually stands.
Yeah, it really does. And I think the thing we're seeing right now really is if Blastburn's in the fight, they're winning. If Blastburn's not in the fight, they're losing hard. Outside of the occasional pick, but being down so much gold is rough. The one benefit they have, the only benefit they have,
Romeo,
is that most of the gold's in Malphite.
Romeo, I Will Glide has a Medjai's.
Sure. Sure.
A 0 stack of Medjai's
Sure.
for our 0-0-0 Vel'Koz.
To be clear, you have no KP, and we just outright buy a Medjai's. Not an item.
Honestly?
Sure. Giga Chad.
I love it.
In alone. Can they stack the Medjai's right here? No! Unstoppable Force stops the Life Force disintegration ray, and at that point, I mean, the tears. I can feel the tears falling. I feel it. Do you? Do you feel the tears hitting the floor right now?
Yeah, I mean, that's so unfortunate. Going to be going down from a 0 stack Medjai's to a 0 stack Medjai's, as I Will Glide not going to be able to commit to that fight in quite the hopefully anticipated way. But if we take a look at this one more time, a Paranoia coming in from Sojan. Once again, these feel almost desperate, but the Lifeform Disintegration Ray starts. The Unstoppable Force just immediately takes that one out. Enchanted Crystal Arrow to follow up, and even Jasmine can't survive. Just so much stuff from the side of XSV Neon. Even pick up a Baron from that play there. And once again, Texas A&M Maroon struggling to survive.
Yeah, it's definitely the struggle bus that Texas has been put on, and now it's just XSV Neon in their element. It would be very, very hard, I think, at this time, for Texas to come back in this game. You do need Mal for your fight if you're going to be able to do it. You do need some misplays, especially on that 8-1 Malphite. And you damn well sure need to make sure that this Dragon does not go over to them. But we have Sojan in the top lane getting picked. Yeah, okay, I mean, sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's just going to be Soul. This is a guarantee. XSV Neon going to be able to pick up the Infernal Soul 4-0, not contested whatsoever.
And now Blastburn, good night. Let's get picked again as well. Like, okay, we wanted our season to last longer. That's what it is, right? It's gotta be.
But right here, Texas A&M Maroon, you know, still kicking, still trying to fight. It's just like their early seasons, right? Had this been a best of one, they would look like gods. Honestly, if you take a look at a lot of Texas A&M Maroons matches, their game ones have been incredible. A lot of the time, they always manage to make people worry when going into things. But game number 2, game number 3 is when things start to fall a little bit apart there.
And they do find the shutdown on Yone. Either this is the start of the comeback of all time, or
that's 4 stacks.
It's just doomed.
Yeah, that's 4 stacks onto the Medjais. I will glide. Going to start building up. You have to understand you can't make a comeback without being down in the first place. In the meantime, Mumu going to continue to clear out this jungle. This Malphite continuing to be a problem without even a single armor-focused item in the inventory.
Do you believe in Texas ASM Maroon? Do you believe in the comeback? The 7K gold down comeback? Be honest, Inside. Do you believe in them?
No.
What? Nah, try again. Try again.
No, I will not lie. I don't believe in the comeback, but what I do believe in is the ability to ruin your opponent's momentum, right? XSV Neon right now, they are in such a good position. They are in such a strong position. But what Texas A&M Maroon can do is they can group up, they can deathball, they can find their ways to crawl back into the game. And at the very least, they can make XSV Neon work for it. And if you're playing a series out, you cannot ever let up. You have to make your opponent struggle. You have to make your opponent try as hard as they can at each and every moment. You can never just move on to the next one. You always have to be able to find something as that response.
I mean, if you can fully stack the Mayas, I believe. If you can fully stack that Soul Stealer, sure. There's going to be the Encore. It does whiff. You have Crescendo available. There's going to be the Paranoia. Popped right on the Victor's face, but the Victor able to flash away. No follow-up. The Crescendo does find 3 after in the long run. Here comes Mel. Now, unstoppable for the backline. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Mel going to find a massive shutdown. There's going to be the Life Forces integration array. It finds 2 shutdowns all over the board. 2,000 gold. Worked back in the favor of Texas. Fates and Seal's going to miss.
3 here,
Can you make it 3? I'm Blast does find the kill. But JJ Robo on top of them. Mel going to be able to find him. And now Brain on the run. It could be another shutdown to go over if Blastburn can find it. Nah, the stun and the cleaver miss.
Yeah, both the stun and the cleaver miss. And once again, Blastburn just proving to be a huge problem in these team fights for the side of XSV Neon. An incredible thorn in their side. The Mel just does so much work here. Let's take a look at this fight one more time. It all started off with that Nocturne Paranoia, but in the end, I'm Blast dashes forward, does use the Soul Unbound to be able to pick up yet another kill. But as we can see, Blastburn just able to do so much work in a lot of these fights, up 3,000 gold individually over his laner, but we have nothing to worry about in mid lane for Texas A&M Maroon. We have everything to worry about everywhere else on the map.
You know what? You know what? Malphite has 12,000 of their gold.
Mm-hmm.
Malphite is kind of the entire gold gap. I mean, it's Malphite and Yone. It's Malphite and Yone.
I mean, Malphite has it. Yone has it.
Oh,
Jesus.
Oh, my God. Jasmine, no. Guys, we can't be doing that. They just burned every ult except for Crystal Arrow onto the poor little lonely Sona.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's going to be an unstoppable force.
Oh, Crystal Arrow misses.
gonna be the encore, right? So we got a few of these team fight ultimates gonna be taken down, but in the end, it is going to be quite a struggle for the side of Texas A&M Maroon to actually make their way back into this. Blastburn, very strong, has the death cap fully finished up. Are we going to be able to see the contest?
I really want to. They don't have ults, guys. Wow, we let them take it in our face when they have no ults.
They have 3. What are you talking about?
They have 3 come up at the end, but
no, they've had 3 the whole time.
The Unstoppable Force and the Encore got used like right away. They had the Crystal Arrow miss.
Malphite ult is so low cooldown at this stage in the game, especially when you take into account that, like, are you really going to take into account the fact that the Malphite has, you know, so much ult ability haste, right? Like, it's just so difficult to ever play a fight and expect to have it down.
There it goes! Goodbye to the Ash. Can Sojourn get out, though? It might be Sojourn's life traded for. Encore gonna hit. Goodbye to Sojourn. Can Blastburn get away? The slows do land, but they're playing the fight out. They don't have to deal with the Ash. There's gonna be the Golden Eclipse of Blastburn not long for this world, and the turn is solely in the XSV Neon's favor as JJ Robo trying to run away, but Mundo not going to be able to go where he pleases. It is going to be sent straight back to Zon here as the Elder Drake spawns.
Yeah, a one-way ticket to hell for the top side of Texas A&M Maroon, but I Will Glide and Jasmine Wolf's the only 2 left available, and regardless of how much range these 2 have, they're not going to be able to contest this Elder Drag whatsoever. Lifeform, Disintegration Ray, and Crescendo both down, so both of these players are looking to just clear out these lanes as much as possible. In the meantime, Blastburn trying to pick up yet even more AP, even more damage on this Mel. Really the only big damage dealing champion available for this squad.
Yeah, it is Mel against the world with a little bit of Vel'Koz there. A good Crescendo can turn this game, but that's not going to pick nothing. Okay. Soda, how many times are we going to get picked?
I mean, can you really blame them at this point, right? If you don't go out to get the vision down, you get picked. If you do go out to get the vision down, you get picked.
Why is no one walking with her if we're going for vision? I feel like we can't be there if our team's not walking with us, and we either need to be saying, hey, we need someone to walk with us, or we can't go. There's going to be the paranoia. It's just an offensive one, but I mean, tower's going to fall. This could be endgame. This should be endgame.
Yeah, this is absolutely going to be the end of the game as we see more and more members of XSV Neon just barreling down these towers, hit after hit, blow after blow. I'm Blast going to take out that top in him on his lonesome, but 2 rows of Baroned up minions coming on in. The Elder is still on deck.
Charm. It is rebutted. The Crescendo does land, but I don't think it's enough. The damage numbers are too high. It's a 10k gold gap. They find 2, but there's still 3 up, and you don't do damage with your remaining numbers. Jasmine seems like they've accepted the fate as that Nexus is going to be destroyed, and it is going to be the gain going over to XSV Neon.
And XSV Neon fire back with a vengeance in game number 2. Game number 1 was beautifully played from the side of Texas A&M Maroon, but XSV Neon showing off why they are the number 1 team going into these playoffs. And only time will tell whether or not game number 3 will actually bring us a full-on banger, or if it's going to be a standard 2-0 comeback for the side of XSV Neon. Texas A&M Maroon still showing us those flashes of brilliance, but we're going to have to see whether they can actually capture them as the series concludes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back as we get ready for the Game 3 draft. This will be the last game of the season for Texas, but can they dethrone the top of the leaderboard? That's been the question. Game 1, they found it. They found their angle with I Will Glide on that bang. Game 2, let's face it, they got stomped. They got stomped right out of the park. They picked 3 losing lanes with a Nocturne jungle. I mean, they had lost in draft. But can they draft better this time? That's the real question here. It's their last game. What do they want to play? What do you want to see, Anti?
I love when teams cook. I just want to see I Will Glide on a standard AD carry. Like, I think I Will Glide is so unbelievably good when it comes to playing these kiting hyper carry style AD carries. Like a Jinx, like a Vayne, like a Twitch, which we're never ever going to be able to see that Twitch. But I need to see standard hyper carry, AD carry with, you know, enchanter support in that bot lane and a team just built around making sure that I Will Glide is allowed to do his job. So in the end, it is going to be the Jarvan pick up for blue side. First pick, Orianna is not available, but that does mean that things like the Rumble, things like the Kennen are significantly more powerful. In response, Texas A&M Maroon are going to be picking up the Lucian Milio, I am anticipating, because those two are disgustingly good as a combo. It is possibly the best bot lane combo in the game right now. So, as we can see, Lucian Milio, exactly what I was talking about, right? 2 champions that do extremely well together when it comes to that 2v2. In the meantime, we do have the Ziggs being picked up as a response. Ziggs Leona used to be the way to play it, but nowadays we usually see the Ziggs just getting left behind, saying, yeah, it doesn't really matter about the 2v2. We're just going to be putting that Ziggs down into that bot lane, and he's just going to be able to exist for as long as possible. The Ornn finally going to be getting picked up for Texas A&M Maroon. I would have loved to see it get picked up in the previous game, but, you know, neither here nor there. The set is going to be banned away, so gonna take away some of these champions that might make it a little bit more difficult for the Ornn. Honestly, I would be a little bit wary if I'm Blast plays something like a Fiora, because it could make things particularly difficult. But in the end, right here is going to be yet another Gwen ban. I honestly am just as happy to see that one taken away as well. But with this much magic damage, I would be a little bit surprised to see the Gwen taken up in response. The jungle picks, on the other hand, are constantly getting targeted here. You don't want to let Sojan be on anything comfortable in game number 3. And the Ambessa going to be taken up here. It could be Ambessa jungle. It could be the Ornn jungle.
Sorry, no, pause. Ornn jungle?
Yeah, no, Ornn jungle has been absolutely a very good pick nowadays, and we've been seeing it, you know, time and time again. There was a small point in time where Ornn was one of the fastest jungle clears in the game, especially because you don't have to back to be picking up your extra goodies. But there is going to be it for our physical damage in that top side, and the rest of the team is going to be outputting much magic damage. So it's just Jarvan and Camille going to be the only ones to be worried about there. So Ornn going to be in that top lane almost certainly, but the Ambessa jungle is definitely something that can make backliners' lives a living hell.
Yeah, I definitely think the Mbessa jungle is where they're looking here. Mbessa, it's good into the Ziggs. I don't hate it. This is the first time we're seeing Texas.
I don't like it in the Cass. Or more, I mean, they picked the Cass into the Mbessa, so I mean, there's a reason for that, right? Like, the Cassiopeia Miasma is so good into Mbessa.
My thing is, Bard's a roaming support. Can you leave Bard, or can you leave Ziggs alone in the Lucian Million? Probably.
Theoretically, yes. Right? Ziggs is just one of those champions that just never actually interacts with people. You hit level 6, you just ult the wave, you leave. There's just not much to be done.
Yeah. I think I'm a little worried for... I think I'm a little worried for Neon, just for the sake that if the Lucian gets ahead, we've seen what I Will Glide can do. And you know I Will Glide's going to try to make a performance out of this. When they have Syndra and Ornn as late game insurance, you imagine Mbessa's pathing bot. I think they're just going to play and see what they can do with I Will Glide. And if Ziggs and Bard are susceptible to it, if Brain and Morbidly Obese are getting caught, it's doomed. On the other side, you imagine Camille and Jarvan can just decimate that Ornn on repeat. Ornn has to play so safe this game, or it's going to be an absolute nightmare for them late game when the Camille is fed and able to just hop on that loop all of the day.
Yeah, I mean, whether Camille can hop onto the Lucian, whether the Jarvan can hop onto the Lucian, I mean, there's just so many unstoppable ways to make sure that Lucian's life is a living hell. I said I Will Glide needs to be on a champion that can play the game, and Texas A&M Maroon need to play champions that allow him to do that. These champions from the side of XSV Neon understood that and are just a bunch of champions that make it even harder for an AD carry to exist in the big 2026. But it's not about the year, it is about the game, and the game count is 1-1. Game number 3 starting up now.
Game number 3 currently underway as we get right into it. And it's just, I mean, beautiful skin from Blastburn here. However, I don't think what Syndra skin is that?
That's the new T1 one.
Is that the new T1 one? I was going to say, look, the T1 skins, banger job this season. Banger job.
I'm going to be so real with you. I just made that up. I have no idea if this is the new T1 one or not.
I didn't know they did a Syndra T1 one, but I'll take it if they did. It looks like it. There's going to be I Will Glide, though, immediately going in on top of Morbidly Obese. Gets a little bit of damage off, forces the heal out of both supports.
Yeah, I mean, late heal coming in from Jasmine, but honestly, totally fine. You already have 2 stacks of your shield. Anyway, so, excuse me, you're going to be more than fine when it comes to these early game fights. Dash on in from I Will Glide just shows you exactly how aggro they're playing on being in the spot lane.
Yeah, a lot of aggro going to come out here. We do see Jasmine Wolf and I Will Glide trying to find any angle they can early in this match. Meanwhile, mid lane, Heppo going to get a big trade here. Blastburn already going to be chunked to less than a quarter of their HP. I wonder if we'll see Jarvan try to capitalize on it, but Syndra is such a hard gank at the end of the day. I mean, she can just shove you away once she's level 3, and it's just kind of crying when you get hit by Scatter the Weave.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely difficult to play into the Syndra after that level 3, but Cassiopeia, and more specifically Heppo's Cassiopeia, has been so instrumental at dealing with champions like the Syndra, just able to dodge away from each and every one of these skill shots, even without the boots on board.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that statement. Mbessa's path towards bot, Jarvan's path towards top as expected. My question is, can Sojourn find anything for I Will Glide and Jasmine here, even if it's a flash burn?
Yeah, I mean, it's bound to be a little bit difficult, right? Especially with the Mbessa. You do have a fast clear. I mean, have you seen Faker clearing on this champion? I mean, she can absolutely get some crazy stuff going. Already going to be on that Scuttle Crab well before the Jarvan ever does. But big fights in the bot lane.
I Will Glide going to chunk Brain to half a quarter. One more shot will do it. They find it. That's going to be first blood on top of that Lucian.
Yeah, first blood going over to I Will Glide. No flash needed for either of the bot laners for the side of Texas A&M Maroon. Let's take a look at how this one started up once again. Sojan just going to continue to clear out the spot side. You have full knowledge that the Jarvan's nowhere near. And all of a sudden, it is just going to be the singular opportunity. One slow up onto the Ziggs, and double shields coming in onto the Lucian, the heal as well. And all of these perfectly timed to just continue to refresh the Lucian passive. In the meantime, Blast Burn
just... Brain gonna chunk Blast Burn to a quarter. But yeah, Lucian, those shields kept him alive forever in that fight.
Yeah, and not only did the shields keep I Will Glide alive, they were also timed extremely well to juggle the Lucian passive to get maximum damage out at the right time. In the meantime, top lane just going to be a little bit of suffering on the side of the Ornn, and this is just going to be the state of the laning phase throughout the entirety of this game. But at the very least, we are going to be seeing this Ornn survive, right? So if you don't go down, you can still be useful as the Ornn. But in the meantime, I'm Blast able to drag the wave. This is a terrible position for this Ornn. If I am Ornn here, you know, I'm begging my jungler to come on top lane to fix this wave state for me.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the only jungler coming right now is just that Jarvan. And Bats are going to be passing towards the bot side. The good news is, Brain, no flash. The heal will be back up. But if Bats can find an angle, it can look very, very good. Top side, Brain, oh god, going to get chunked very hard here. Almost just setting up the health bars. And Bats are going to be backing, though. Not going to be taking her Gromp.
Yeah, not quite going to be doing that just yet. I mean, still keeping that alive, so that way you have the ability to just, you know, take that on the rotate. It just makes sure that everything spawns at around the same time period. Now you take a look at the mid lane.
Yeah, mid lane, they looked for an angle. Again, it's Blast Burn. You got scattered the weak up. Syndra does what Syndra wants, and she just does it safely. She gets to just kind of chill. Brain, though, not going to chill at all. I Will Glide. It's another solo bolo in the bot lane, and it's going to set up their dragon. What a beautiful kill. Let's take a look at that again.
Yeah, I mean, that was beautiful stuff from both Jasmine and I Will Glide there.
Oh,
if you take a look at this bot lane,
I had to come back real quick. That was an annihilation. The mid lane of Cataclysm burnt immediately, and Jarvan just went down, and now that Hextech Dragon is no longer free.
Yeah, it's no longer free for the side of Texas A&M Maroon, but they are going to be seeing this dragon going down to the side of XSV Neon. In the meantime, top lane will be a full-on recall from I'm Blast, and now we're going to be able to see whether or not this Ornn is able to survive against this Camille.
Yeah, will the Ornn be able to make it? Ornn's doing quite a good job right now. They already have the tabbies as well, but with Hextech Ultimatum, that's where things start to get hard, right? That Hextech Ultimatum, if it can be played on you, well, you'll have some difficulties. Jarvan, of course, has been pathing to this Camille on the butts of the map. Blastburn going to get stunned here. Public execution going to miss, but it does force the flash out of Heppo. And Blastburn gets to play an even safer lane now. Well, their bot lane just steamrolls this early game.
Yeah, I mean, it's so good from the side of Texas A&M Maroon to be able to deny that flash, right? To deny that summoner spell. And right now, XSV Neon struggling a little bit, right? They are up in the CS department. They are up in, you know, what I'm assuming is the gold department. I can't quite see the number, but what we do know for a fact is that both of these teams are just, they have their win conditions and they're certainly playing to them, right? Top lane, very important for the side of XSV Neon. Bot lane, the win condition for Texas A&M Maroon. And you're seeing it reflected in the attention, in the full-on fights in the bot lane and the top lane over and over again. It's just harassment from both sides. No flirting involved.
Yeah, no flirting at all. All of the advancements being rejected. I think Texas have put themselves in a really nice position with this comp because they win early and they win late. You still have that Syndra Ornn as late game insurance if I Will Glide isn't able to close out the game with their advantage. Meanwhile, on the other side, XSV Neon wants to win this game through mid-game, right? Like, you have Ziggs, Cassiopeia, Camille, Jarvan. You want to win from that, like, 20 to 30 minute mark, and if you don't, you do probably lose if you haven't found yourself a sizable gold advantage. And it's going to be so hard right now with that Lucian 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult, but it's not as difficult as if I Will Glide actually finished out that Essence Reaver. But right here, we're seeing it get very, very close. It's like, what, 200 gold away from the Essence Reaver if I Will Glide was sitting on 0, if I remember correctly. It's been a little bit since I played Lucian. I don't quite remember the gold numbers, but
for the tower
take
dive.
a
There's
look
the
at this
public
dive.
execution right on top of the Ziggs. Morbidly obese. That's going to be the super mega death bomb, but it doesn't find the kill. Lucian going to be able to finish the job. Tempered Fate going to be able to keep him alive. Rain has saved Lucian. Blastburn takes the turret. It's all looking beautiful for Texas A&M Maroon, but Jasmine, wait, the kick. Oh my god, the winner of the World Cup, the calling going to be able to destroy the minions to keep Jasmine alive. Wait! Heppo finishes the job just at the end there. It's a 2-for-1 trade at the end of the day. Let's take another look at that tower dive.
Right here, yeah, I mean, Jasmine tries to survive, but Heppo burns the ghost and just runs her straight down. But take a look at this one more time. So we have the bomb just kind of coming on in, hitting the wave as much as possible. No ulti available just yet, but the public execution directly onto the Ziggs. The flash back into the tower. The auto onto the tower was rectified. And in the end, another dash in from I Will Glide puts even more gold into this Lucian's pocket. And I was saying before that it's not as if Lucian had finished the Essence Reaver, but now he has alongside the Gluttonous Greaves.
It was a good satchel charge to keep him away there. So close, though, just being able to jump on top. Iron Blast is doing quite a lot of work in the top lane, though. 30 CS up. That Camille is winning for free with all the attention going bot lane. However, we haven't seen a lot coming out of the Jarvan. There was that play mid, which got Cassiopeia. That's about it. Call of Forge going to come through. There's going to be the Cataclysm with the knockup last for days. Iron Blast, one more will do it. They are able to flash out just in time.
Yeah, beautifully played from JJ Robo. Had to force everything from the side of Iron Blast, but in the end, not going to be able to do enough. Close only matters in horseshoes and hand grenades, and a tower dance is neither of those
Here's the
things.
return, though. There's the return. Mega Death Bomb going to go through. I Will Glide a little bit premature. Culling going to be used. Taking a lot of damage. Bard now going to show up. The bomb hits. The bouncing bomb hits with the shield. Oh my god. Half his health bar had just come back in a shield. Brian going to go down. There comes Jimumu. Tries to E4. The bomb going to be found on Morbidly Obese. It's so incredibly misplayed here from Texas. It was just, wow. They just did everything wrong.
They tried their best to get that damage off, to get that dive going once again, but it just goes sideways over and over again. I Will Glide tanks a tower a little bit early. The rotation from the entirety of XSV Neon to make sure that this is far from free, and despite that early gold going into this Lucian, still not enough damage to pop both bot laners in quick enough fashion.
And now Dragon number 2, underway here. It has been taken. It is another Inferno Soul for this Rift. And an Inferno Soul is very, very lovely to see, especially if you're stacking dragons, which XSV Neon, I mean, they're up 2 already.
Yeah, they're up 2. This is their 6th dragon in a row, right? In the meantime, Heppo... No, sorry, that is Blastburn at 57 stacks on the Syndra. Just able to get closer and closer to that unleashed power, you know, that full-on transcendence. But we're going to see whether or not JJ Robo's actually able to survive into this Camille. It is just suffering up here for the Ornn.
Yeah, call it Epic the Musical right now, because JJ Robo not getting to play the game, absolutely stuck, suffering under that turret at the Camille. They're down 40 CS right now. That Trinity Force doing a ton of damage. I mean, I'm Blast should be able to finish it off here, right? It's going to be close. I mean, JJ Robo does still have the flash over Iron Blast. Wasn't committed to that earlier play. There's going to be the flash forward. Hextech Ultimatum goes through. They do survive the tower dive.
All right, JJ Robo, another tower dance going to be going well this
Fate
time.
Found. There's going to be the miasma. The Petrifying Gaze is going to miss, but there's the public execution. They throw forward. The Unleashed Power is used, but not enough damage. They haven't found enough stacks just yet. Now Sojin might be the caught. Flash forward. Heppo is annihilating the Rift. Those snake ears and snake tongue and snake tail is just slithering around and shooting poor Blastburn and Sojin like a barrel.
Yeah, and it's so difficult to nail this snake down, especially with the Rylai's, with the Ghost, with the Swift March. And I'm almost certain that this is a celerity on the Cassiopeia. So much damage coming through for Heppo here. In the meantime, JJ Robo just has no form of respite. It is harassment no matter where he goes.
Kaboom. That's the first tower gonna be destroyed. Right in the face of JJ Robo. And at this point, Ziggs is probably getting close, if not matching the gold of that Lucian. Cassiopeia is a goddess. Jarvan is just going to do Jarvan things. Camille is up 50 CS. You are losing in every facet of this game right now, Texas. Is this the mark you leave behind?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't know if Texas A&M Maroon even have the ability to make that decision. I will glide where they have most of their gold, but is he going to be able to do enough into I'm Blast? No. The Camille does so much damage. You have to be careful, especially with the Triforce already fully completed.
And there's the Hextech Ultimatum. There's the Mega Inferno Bomb. Nighty Night. Tempered Fate, you flash right into it, Jasmine. I got some bad news for you. You're not going home. You've been eliminated from the World Cup. Good night, Milio.
Yeah, and Iron Blast just able to do so much damage with that second hit of the Q. It's just, oh god, it's tough to say the least. Sojan for the third game in a row is rushing the Profane Hydra, and I still don't know if it's the play here.
The dashboard. There's going to be a magical journey Brain is taken to make sure that Sojan meets their end. There's 6,000 gold between these two teams. And XSV Neon right now, they might have lost game 1, but game 2 and now definitely game 3 is a statement for any team ready to take them on in playoffs.
Yeah, XSV Neon, this is the team to watch out for. This is the team that everyone knows is terrifying. Seed number 1 coming into playoffs, and as we can see right here, even with the incredible play from Texas A&M Maroon, it is far from easy to play into these monsters.
It is far. Jasmine will slowly making their approach. Heppo going to dash on that magical journey out. Jasmine Wolf just eyeing the prey, but little do they know the ambulance is for Pep as they're getting sent right back to base.
Yeah, right back to base here, but once again, XSV Neon just picking up so much gold, so much pressure, so much tempo. Like third dragon going down. If you're keeping count, that is 7 dragons in a row for XSV Neon, as this is not going to be contested by Texas A&M Maroon in any way, shape, or form.
Let's face it, there's going to be the Hextech Ultimatum on JJ Robo. Gonna get completely touched right now in every way as I'm Blast is just annihilating JJ Robo with that sword. Good night. Blastburn comes in, Unleashed Power, nowhere near enough damage, and they're just gonna dash away. And at this point, Texas, they got no gold, they got no dragons, they got no grubs, they got no herald, they got no money, no kills, no ultimates hitting, no bitches. It's just a nightmare right now for Texas as they're watching their season crumble in front of their very eyes.
Yeah, and the Herald comes on through. Another tower goes down, and a beautiful Tempered Fate.
Crazy. Absolutely precious. God, God damn, that was precious. That was insane. And, like, XSV Neon, they're just showing they're unstoppable. This might be, like, they're 18 minutes in their base saying, we're going to make sure you guys go out. We're snuffing the flame right here, right now. Jamumu dashing away as they're already at the T3s, guys. They're already a dragon away. It's just everything falling. You know what? Just for fun, I wanna see that Tempered Fate again. At this point, they got no gold. They got no dragon.
I mean, let's take a look at this one more time here. So we're taking a look at the top side for just a little bit. The public execution goes wide onto Morbidly Obese, but in the bot lane, it's just hit onto this tower again after again, and the Rift Herald comes on through. There goes Shelly, and here comes the Tempered Fate from downtown. Miasma in place, no way out, and once again, it's so difficult to exist if you're Texas A&M Maroon. Game number 1 was a masterclass. Game number 2 was humiliation, and game number 3 is a public execution. XSV Neon going so terrifying coming into the playoffs, showing that they are ones to be feared.
Yeah, they are absolutely the ones to be feared, and they are just dominant. There's going to be the call. The Forge God public execution goes forward. Oh, God. Cataclysm in the back, but it's not going to do enough. And G-Mumu going to fall. I'm Blast. Going to be next. As they're trying to find anything, they do get I Will Glide. J-Robo. Good night. I'm Blast. Going to find Blast Burn as well. And we know which Blast is going to be making the run for it. Ouch, kabibbles is all I gotta say.
Yeah, and once again, just hit after hit, blow after blow, 19 kills in 20 minutes, and XSV Neon are just barreling down the middle lane. They have a Ziggs available, they have the inhib tower, and it's going to be more and more resources committed to try to take down any member of this team. But with 18 stacks on a Medjai's, how much more can you really commit?
Truly, how much more can you really commit? It is so hard for them right now to do really anything. It's just a little sad. It's a little rough. They're doing their best, but right now there's nothing they can really do.
Yeah, it's so difficult for the side of XSV Neon, and sorry, not XSV Neon, for the side of Texas A&M Maroon. We have said it time and time again. This team, this is the last time we are going to be seeing this team on the broadcast. They have had a wonderful season showcasing a beautiful mirage of, you know, what ifs, right? They've constantly shown us flashes of brilliance, toe to toe with some of the best teams in the league, and they've always managed to make them work for it. And now, game number 3, XSV Neon going to just put the nail in the coffin as we say goodbye to our friends at Texas A&M Maroon. It has been a wonderful series and a wonderful season as the number 1 seed shows just why they are to be feared.
Yeah, I mean, if there's ever a reason to fear a team, it's watching this game. This game has been an absolute smashing. There's even the call the Forge God, but it's not going to do much. 1,000 gold bounties across the board on everyone you want them to be. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot, and they're playing so well. XSV Neon, they might have lost game 1, but they are showing this is the XSV Neon we've known all season. And this is the XSV Neon you have to contend with coming into playoffs. Tempered Fate for the first time in this game going to go wide, but we're in the base. Triple inhibs underway, 22 minutes, and we are stomping our way in. This is the last stand for Texas. What can they do? Good night, Sojin. That's your season. There goes Blastburn. JJ Romo going to be next as he falls with a gray screen. It's just I Will Glide and Jasmine Wolf who have to sit in their base and watch as XSV Neon find a 22-minute victory over Texas A&M Maroon to enter playoffs.
Texas A&M Maroon did what they could, but it is XSV Neon to hoist the flag, to go into playoffs, not quietly, but with a bang. Game number 3 under their belt. Shoutouts to Texas A&M Maroon. A beautiful season from each and every one of these members, but in the end, despite bringing it to game 3 so many weeks, so many times, despite making their opponents work for it each and every time, they just weren't quite able to get that extra little piece to cross the finish line in the winner's circle. But either way, that is going to wrap up week number 7 for not only Ascendant League, but the entirety of Titan Esports. So playoffs come in right around the corner, actually starting up tomorrow if
for
I
Divinity.
do remember correctly. So either way, we've got nothing but bangers available to us. And as always, thank you so much to our friends at Texas A&M Maroon, at XSV Neon, and thank you to Romeo for pulling triple duty today, right? But thank you for watching, and make sure to tune into the rest of the playoffs throughout the rest of the week.